Hey everyone, and welcome to another reading vlog. It is currently Wednesday. I would have started this vlog on Monday or Tuesday, but we're going through a bit of a heat wave in the UK at the moment, and I'm not coping very well. I'm also really sleep deprived because it's too hot to sleep at the moment, but I'm gonna try not to talk about the weather too much in this vlog because I feel like that's all I've been doing all week is moaning about the weather, and I feel like it's just boring now. As you probably guessed from the title, there is a theme to this week's vlog, and that is giving authors a second chance. There are two books that I'm gonna try and read in this vlog, and with both of these books, I've read books by these authors before and thought they were just okay. However, I also felt that there was potential for me to love other books by those authors, so that's the theme for this vlog. I hope that makes sense. Like I said, my brain is just not coping with this weather. I'm so sleep deprived. Honestly, I can't even explain. The first book that I'm going to be picking up is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. So I have actually already started this. I'm about 30% of the way through, and I'm also buddy reading it with Helen from Helen's Bookhaven, so we should finish it by the end of this week, I think, if I've worked out the buddy read pages right. But I have only read one book by Christina Lauren before. I read In a Holidays back in December because it's a Christmas book, and I thought it was just okay. I can't remember if I gave it 2 or 3 stars, but I can remember thinking the romance was a bit bland, and I think I struggled with the characters, and I listened to the audiobook as well, and I didn't really like the narration. However, I thought that the writing style was okay, and I know that The Unhoneymooners is one of their more popular books, so I'm hoping that I'm gonna enjoy this a lot more, and so far, like I said, I'm about 30% of the way through. I'm really enjoying it. I don't think it's gonna be 5 stars, but it's a lot more funny than I thought it would be, and I'm enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would. It basically follows a woman called Olive who has a twin sister called Amy, and they're kind of the opposite of each other. So whereas Olive is known as being the unlucky one in the family, Amy actually has this hobby where she enters competitions, and she's pretty good at it. She's basically won everything for her wedding. However, what ends up happening is that almost everyone at this wedding ends up coming down with food poisoning except for Olive and the best man, who I think, is he called Ethan? Yes, so Olive and the best man Ethan are the only 2 people at this wedding who don't get food poisoning, and Olive's sister insists that they go on the honeymoon that she won because she doesn't want it to go to waste. However, there's kind of fake dating involved. They have to lie about being married, otherwise they could get in trouble because it goes against the competition terms and conditions. I think I've understood that right. Honestly, the plot for this sounds a little bit ridiculous and a little bit unbelievable, and it is. The situation in this book I don't think would ever realistically happen, but I'm actually enjoying it. It's really fun, it's really funny. I'm getting a little bit of secondhand embarrassment from some of the stuff that's been happening, especially the scene where Olive was in a spa, and I'm enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would. The second book that I'm hoping to pick up for this vlog is Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. I read Punk 57 by Penelope Douglas, I think it was last year, or it might have been the year before, and I really liked Penelope Douglas's writing style, but the relationship in Punk 57 wasn't really for me, just because it's a bully romance, and I'd never read a bully romance before, so I wasn't sure if it was going to be my kind of thing, but I didn't really vibe with it, so I'm hoping for better things from Birthday Girl. I think I'm going to go for a walk now because it's actually cool enough to go for a walk, and then I'm going to read my buddy read pages for The Unhoneymooners, and I will catch up with you when I have reading updates. It is now Thursday, and I am 50% of the way through The Unhoneymooners. Why am am I out of breath? Oh my goodness. I am really enjoying this still. I feel like I said that in the last update, but the further that I get into it, the funnier it gets. And it's the type of humour that I think wouldn't be for everyone, because it's very cringy. It reminds me a little bit of the film The Proposal and also Bridesmaids. It's that kind of cringe humour, and it is playing like a movie as I'm reading it. It feels very rom-com-y. I have no idea if that's actually even a word, but it feels like a rom-com movie, and I like the characters. I don't feel like I'm that invested yet in them as a couple, but I'm enjoying following their adventures in Hawaii, I think it is. When I read an enemies to lovers story, I want it to feel like enemies to lovers. I want to feel like the characters don't like each other in the beginning, and I do feel like this book is doing that quite well. Like in the beginning, I could genuinely feel that the characters disliked each other, but then gradually over the course of the book, they're starting to get on a little bit better. It feels quite surface level at the moment though, and I'm interested to see how the relationship develops the further that we get into the book. I think that the banter has been done really well, and the dialogue in parts has been so funny. I feel like I've said that a lot, that this book is funny, but genuinely, I can't remember the last time I read a book that has made me laugh out loud. One thing I would say though is that there's been quite a lot of pop culture references, which I don't mind, except that sometimes I feel like it's taken me out of the story and it's a little bit jarring, but that's the only real criticism I would say that I've got so far. I'm just hoping that we do get deeper feelings developing in this second half, because I do feel like it has been quite surface level so far. I have now finished reading The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren, and I'm not going to talk about it right now. I'm going to give it 4 stars, I think, because I enjoyed the first half a lot more than the second half, but I'm struggling to talk at the moment because it's quite late on Friday night and I'm going to London tomorrow, so I want to make sure that I get plenty of sleep so that I'm awake for that and I don't miss my train. Hopefully I can start Birthday Girl on the train down there, and then I'll have plenty of reading updates when I'm back. But yeah, I'm really glad that I actually enjoyed The Unhoneymooners, because I feel like this vlog is off to a good start.
Oh shit, you come from the East Coast, I heard that it's cold there. Yeah, I know a place in Los Angeles, girl, we should go there. Sitting on the pier, drink a couple beers, yeah, swear I never thought like this. Yeah, let me be your Mick Jagger, your Hollywood A-list. Ooh, 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 I think I saw you driving on Wilshire, yeah. Ooh, 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 and now I wanna make you mine. Cause baby, in the city of angels, you're the only one that shines. Ooh, 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 every day, all the time, yeah. Ooh, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When you walk in, I get nervous, I'm just being honest, yeah. But let's go get lost in the city, girl, it's not a problem. Sitting on the pier, drink a couple beers, yeah, swear I never thought like this. Yeah, let me be your Chris Hemsworth, your Hollywood A-list. Hollywood A-list, yeah. Ooh, 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 I think I saw you driving on Wilshire, yeah. Ooh, 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 and now I wanna make you mine. Cause baby, in the city of angels, you're the only one that shines. Ooh, 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 every day, all the time, yeah.
Good morning. So it is now Sunday and obviously I'm back from London. I think I mentioned I was going down for the day, but I don't know if I mentioned actually why I was going to London. So I basically met up with some booktube friends, which was so much fun and I can't stop smiling. Like, I am exhausted because we did a lot of walking yesterday. It was kind of like a pub crawl, but instead of pubs, it was bookshops. So we went on like a bit of a tour of a lot of bookshops in London, and the bookshops in London are amazing. I don't even know how many bookshops we ended up going to, but it was so much fun. It was such a good day, and I want to do it all again. Obviously, I love book shopping, but I think there's just something special about going book shopping with people who love books as much as you do. So yeah, obviously I bought books because I am easily influenced, and when in London, it would be rude not to buy books, especially when the bookshops are that good. So I thought I would do a quick book haul now and just show you all of the books that I got. I bought 5 books in total, and there's quite a different mix of genres, so I think I'll start with the book that's actually on the bottom of the stack. That was the first book that I bought, and that was The Final Strife by Saara El-Arifi. I hope I've pronounced the author's name right, but the cover for this book is absolutely stunning, and I actually met the author Yauk and heard her talk on a panel, which made me more intrigued about this book because I think this is a debut and I haven't actually heard many reviews for it yet. Okay, so it says here that it's set in a world where there are these trials that are held every 10 years to find the next rulers of the empire. So it sounds like something that I would enjoy because I do tend to like competitions in fantasy books. I know that Joanna and Abby picked up a copy of this at the same time, and I think that Sam has a copy as well, or is going to be getting a copy. So we were talking about buddy reading this as well at some point, hopefully later this year, because I really love the cover for this. It's so pretty, and yeah, after hearing the author speak at Yauk, I've got a lot of hype for this book, so I'm excited to read it. This is just what it looks like under the dust jacket, so it's a plain hardcover, but it does have beautiful artwork on the end pages as well. I can't remember which book I picked up next, but I think it was Rabbits by Terry Miles. So this book, I swear, was following me around yesterday because I saw it in almost every bookshop that we went into, and I like the cover because it has a rabbit on it. But it also sounds really interesting as well. It says that it's about a mysterious alternative reality game, and I think the main character has been obsessed with trying to find a way to enter this game. It says here that the rewards for winning are unclear, but they could involve money, CIA recruitment, or even immortality. So it sounds like it might be a sci-fi thriller. One of the reviews on the back compares it to Ready Player One, which I haven't actually read yet. It's one of those books that I've had on my Kindle for ages and just never got round to, but I like books that have some kind of game element, so I'm hoping that I like this one too. Can't remember if I said, but I picked that one up in foils, and then another book that I also picked up in foils was The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. So I've heard a lot about this series. I think the first 2 books are out so far. I think it was originally self-published and then it was picked up by a publisher in the UK, but this is the first book in the Dreamland Billionaires series, and I think the whole concept behind this series is that it's following 3 brothers who are the heirs to this Disneyland style theme park. This first book follows 2 main characters, Rowan and Saara, and it says here that Saara is offered her dream job working for this theme park, and Rowan is her boss. So it sounds like a workplace romance, which I haven't had the best luck with actually in the past, but I've heard really good things about the second book in the series in particular. And yeah, I think that the way that this series is set up is that each book follows a different brother, so you can read the books as standalones if you want to. The next book that I picked up was Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell. So I got this in Gaze the Word, which is an LGBTQ+ bookshop that I think is quite famous in London. And this was only £3 because it's secondhand, but it looks like it's in pretty good condition, and I've heard really good good things about this. I believe that this is technically sci-fi, but the sci-fi elements are quite light and it's more like a political romance. Okay, so if the camera angle has changed, it's because I just had to delete some stuff off my memory card. But the final book that I picked up was You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Akwaeke Emezi. So this is another new release and I'm pretty sure that it's a romance. I had a quick look of the summary and it says that it follows a main character called Faye who's given the chance to go on this dream island holiday, but the only problem is that she ends up falling for the one man that she absolutely can't have. So it sounds like it's going to be a forbidden romance, which I'm really intrigued about. It's quite short as well, so I think I could read it quite quickly, and I mean the spine is so colourful. Is that going to focus? Yeah, I love the spine of this. I just love colourful books. They make me really excited to pick them up. And yeah, because this is quite a short book and the summary sounds like it's gonna be a summary read, then I would like to get around to this quite quickly. I do own another book by this author. I think it's Freshwater that I have, and I haven't got around to it yet, but I'm excited to see what I think of their writing style because I've heard really good things. So those are the 5 books that I picked up in London. Let me know in the comments actually if you've read any of these and which you think I should start with. I do have a few buddy reads planned for some of these books, but yeah, I feel like yesterday was a successful book shopping day. It was so nice to finally meet some of my booktube friends that I've been talking to for quite a while now. It's always really weird meeting people in person when you've already spoke to them online because you feel like you already know each other, but you've never actually met in person yet. So yeah, yesterday was just such a good day. It's put me in such a good mood and I feel like I'm just ready to read all of the books. I always find that when I hang out with like other bookish people, like people who love books as much as me, it makes me just want to read. I did also quickly want to talk through some reading updates because I mentioned that I finished The Unhoneymooners on Friday. Really enjoyed this one. I think I'm going to give it a solid 4 stars. It was almost a 5 stars, but there was some things that happened towards the end that I found really frustrating. I think it was actually more the way that characters were reacting to that situation frustrated me more than anything, and it made me not like certain characters, which obviously isn't a good thing. I was still interested in the outcome of what was happening. I know I'm being really vague, but I don't want to go into spoilers, but yeah, I was still interested in finding out what was going to happen. So it was compelling and I did struggle to put it down. But yeah, I feel like the situation towards the end kind of spoiled it a little bit for me, even though it did also make sense. I don't know, I think it was more a personal thing rather than the actual book's fault, but 4 stars, and I would really recommend this if you're looking for a good beach read. I really wish I'd been able to read this on a beach somewhere because it is just the perfect holiday rom-com. I also didn't actually predict certain things towards the end, which I liked because I feel like romance books can be predictable and it doesn't bother me at all because at the end of the day I'm not picking up a romance book to be surprised, but I do still like it when a romance book keeps me on my toes. After reading this I would actually pick up more books by Christina because I actually quite liked this story and I like their writing style, so yeah, this ended up being much more of a success than Inner Holidays. I would say though that if you're looking for something that's super smutty, then I wouldn't recommend this one. I mean, it's definitely an adult romance, but it is light on the steam, so just something that I did want to mention. While I was on the train to London, I did end up starting Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas, and I'm really enjoying this so far. I'm enjoying it a lot more than Punk 57, but I feel like this has a very different tone to Punk 57 because Punk 57 has a lot of teenage angst, whereas this is more softer and sweeter. It basically follows our main character Jordan, who's 19, and her boyfriend is not the best, to be honest. They end up getting kicked out of their apartment and they have to go and live with his dad for a while. His dad's name is Pike, and it's quite clear from the start that Jordan and Pike have chemistry and there's some sort of interest there, but I do feel like the romance is building up very, very slowly. They seem to complement each other well, and so I do feel like I'm invested in the romance. I haven't heard any reviews that have said that this book involves cheating, so that was the only thing that I was worried about when I read the synopsis, but I feel like it's going to be okay because this is quite a popular book, and so I feel like if there was cheating in it, then I would have heard about it by now. I'm hoping that I can read some more of this today. I am going out for Sunday lunch later, but I have some time this morning to just chill and read, so I'm hoping to finish this book maybe today or tomorrow because I want to get this vlog live. But to be fair, that shouldn't be a problem because Penelope Douglas's writing style is so easy to breeze through, and I think that's why I like it, is because there's something so addictive about it, and I flew through the first part of this book, so I'm really excited to carry on reading. So it's a little bit later and I'm now over halfway through Birthday Girl. I think I'm around 57% of the way through, and I don't know what else I can say about this book. I'm still enjoying it. I'm definitely enjoying it more than Punk 57. I think the main thing that I'm struggling with at the moment is the love interest Pike is very protective, and I think it's on the border between regular protectiveness and over protectiveness. I don't even know whether that's what's bothering me though, because he is self-aware. He's aware that he's acting that way and that Jordan doesn't need protecting because she's had quite a difficult life and she knows how to take care of herself. So I don't think that's what's bothering me. I think it's just there's been a few phrases that have been used that have irritated me a little bit. There was one point, well, there's actually been a few points where Jordan has been referred to almost like she's a possession, and I just don't like that. Otherwise though, like, the age gap doesn't bother me, and I do feel like I'm invested in the characters and I do like them. Something else actually that I do quite like is that it's told in dual perspective, so you get Jordan's point of view but then also Pike's point of view, and I do tend to prefer that in romance books. I like to see both characters' thoughts. I'm going to take a break now and catch up on Love Island, and then hopefully I can read a little more of this tonight. According to my Kindle, I've got about an hour and a half left. So if I don't finish it tonight, then I'll probably finish it on my lunch break tomorrow, and then I'll share my final thoughts and my final rating. But yeah, enjoying it so far. I think it's just those few little issues that I'm hoping are going to be ironed out in the second half. So it is now Monday evening and I am here to wrap up this vlog because I finished reading Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas, and I'm gonna give this 4 stars. I liked it. I really, really enjoyed it a lot more than I was expecting to. I think it was more the ending that just wasn't really for me. I'm not really a big fan of epilogues anyway, and so the last 2 chapters of this book just weren't for me, but otherwise I really enjoyed the build-up and the tension, and I thought that the 2 main characters had really good chemistry. I will say that the smut in this was really well written, and that is one thing actually that I've noticed with both of the Penelope Douglas books that I've read, is that I've really enjoyed the smut. I do think that Penelope Douglas is a fantastic writer. I would really like to read more Penelope Douglas books, but I've heard that their other books are a lot more taboo than Birthday Girl, and I feel like Birthday Girl was more within my comfort zone. But if you've read any other Penelope Douglas books, then please let me know if there are any that you'd recommend. I'm really happy with how this experiment went. I feel like it was a good thing to do, to give these authors a second chance, because I ended up really enjoying both of the books that I read this week. Otherwise though, I am gonna go. So thanks for watching. If you made it this far, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and click subscribe if you would like to see more videos from me, and I will see you next time. Bye.